Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so glad you are here with me today. This is going to be a really fun one. I actually had a client message me recently, a former client, and she said, I didn't believe you. You told me these things. You told me XYZ, which I'm going to get into, but you told me all those things, and I did not believe you. I was like, yeah. That's for other people, but not me. And she was like, and you're totally right. And so it got me thinking about what are the things that I know after helping hundreds of people. Literally, if I add it all up, I could probably get into the thousands of people that I have helped over the last 6, 7 years of doing this work, help to launch and scale their businesses. It got me thinking about what are things that I say, that I tell people that they do not believe, right? And so I came up with 10 things that no one believes that I say that I hear over and over again, people come back and say, oh, I wish I believed you. I could have saved myself so much time and money and mistakes and energy and misery and all the things. So that's what we're going to do today. I have 10 things that no one ever believes that are true when you are starting a packaged food business. Welcome to Your Food Business Success. This podcast is for early stage entrepreneurs in the packaged food industry ready to finally turn that delicious idea into reality. I'm your host, Sari Kimbell. I have guided hundreds of food brand founders to success as an industry expert and business coach, and it's gotta be fun. In this podcast, I share with you mindset tools to become a true entrepreneur and run your business like a boss. Interviews with industry experts to help you understand the business you are actually in, and food founder journeys so you can learn what worked and didn't work and not feel so alone in your own journey. Now let's jump in. All right, so we're just going to jump in. I'm going to just riff a little bit. I'm going to try to move through these quickly. But the first one is, this one might be my favorite one. Not everything is Googleable, right? Like, I know that there are people out there who are like, no, Sari, not me. I can just Google my way or chat GPT my way. And I am telling you that there are things in this industry that only insiders know. You cannot find it anywhere on Google. Or if you do find it on Google, one person's going to tell you one way and somebody else is going to tell you another way. A really good example of this is I just got a message from one of our guests that we had on Fuel VIP, Mike Float, and he was showing us how to get registered with the FDA and get our DUNS number and everything. And he just got off a call with somebody from the FDA, and they basically gave him step-by-step instructions that I then just uploaded into the program so that everybody who's Fuel VIP can go and get that information. And these are things that, like, the FDA's website is just so difficult and it is not very searchable. And I don't know that that information is anywhere because I've tried to find it. So there are going to be there's just so many nuances about this business, whether it's food safety, regulations, things you can and can't say, um, let alone just more like industry specifics, like how do you get into distribution and how do you find the right kinds of packaging and resources and all these things. So it is not all Googleable. Is there a lot? Yes, 100%. But I did a funny reel a while back where I was like Google or Chat GPTing this stuff, right? And it was giving me answers, but they were very vague and some were just downright incorrect. So that's the first one. Not everything is Googleable. And frankly, I don't want to put my business and my, so many other things at risk because I'm just like, I have too much ego and I'm like, I'll figure it all out myself. Number two, being an entrepreneur is way more than just having a great product idea. Right? It goes way beyond your product. I know you make something amazing. That should be a given, right? That's just like a baseline of where we start, but it is so much more. Running a business is running a business. And what I talk a lot about in Master Your Business is that we actually have to learn to love our businesses the same way we are passionate about our products. It is possible. And in fact, I highly recommend that you approach your business with the same curiosity and interest and passion of like, how do I learn how to be a CEO? I think Lisa of last week's podcast from Primola Granola is such a great example of that. Like she's curious and she wants to learn, she wants to get better, and she's always willing to go and get help and seek out experts and learn and grow and challenge herself. Um, but if you just have a great product and that's all you want to do, then it's okay. Just run a hobby, right? Have a hobby. You can even have a hobby business. But if you want to really make this your full-time thing, if you want to be making a decent income from this, that it's like the product is just the baseline, and then we get to work and we learn how to run a business. And one thing I know is that I have become so passionate about business, about being a CEO, and I try to like transfer that onto all of you guys. Like this is fun. When you learn how to run a cash flow spreadsheet, it's relevant, and I try to teach things and break things down into the simplest ways I can. But when it finally clicks and you figure that out and you're like, whoa, this is amazing, right? That's entrepreneurship. When you start seeing opportunity everywhere and you're like, I could do this and I can do this and I can do this, right? That's entrepreneurship. So it goes way beyond just your delicious product. That just better be there. And now if you really want to be an entrepreneur, let's go. Let's learn how to run an actual business. Okay, number 3. If all I needed to be successful was a great idea and following one strategy, then we would all be millionaires. But it goes so much further than that. Ideas are cheap. When people come and tell me, I have the most amazing idea, it's something no one has ever seen before. I'm like, cool, that's awesome. Couple of things. New is expensive, right? When it's brand new and no one's ever seen it or heard of it, or it's like just a little too different than what's already out there, it's expensive. And there may be a reason why no one has done this before, right? Especially to scale it up on like a large level, right? Because you making it out of your home kitchen is like, when you do the math, when you get into my pricing for profit worksheet and you actually do the worst case scenario math, you're like, oh, I would need to sell this thing for $35, right? To be able to actually make a profit. So success is just way more than a great idea. I hear great ideas all the time. It's about action, and it goes way beyond just one strategy, right? There are lots of people who are like, just do this strategy. And we get so many strategies all over the place. Part of the problem is we just need to pick one or two and just follow them all the way through. You're going to do a strategy, and part of it is going to work. And then you're going to go do something else and or do a side shoot off of that. You're going to try something else, and then you're going to try something else. And like, it's just a puzzle, and it's a mismatch, and you're going to try so many things. There is just not one direct path to success. So it's way more than an idea, and it's way more than just, this is my one strategy, right? It's so much pivoting. It's so much like everything is dynamic, everything is fluid. And what worked for one person was their unique sauce, right? It was their timing, it was the resources that they had, who they knew. It was just, Justin, I don't know, like Justin of Justin Scent Butter is a great example. I don't know that he could have done it now, right? Like it just was a function of timing and ideas and people he knew and his willingness to take risks. There was so many things that it's different now. And we can't just follow the same strategy. All right, number 4, your business and you will change and evolve immensely. How you start out is not how your business will look in a year, in 2 years, in 10 years. I look back on who I was when I started this business, and it is wildly different. If you go back and look at some of my old YouTube videos, it's like it's a different person. I mean, I lived in a different location, but it it's a completely different person than who I am now. You're going to grow, you're going to evolve. Maybe you start it on your own and you bring in partners. Maybe you start with partners and those, then you're not. The product itself is going to change. Who you are as a person is going to change. And we have this fallacy that we think that it's all like, this is my idea and this is how it's going to work. And this is who I will be, and I'm not going to change all that much. But entrepreneurship will change you faster than almost anything. Maybe you go have a kid and you're going to get the same thing, right? It's going to change you significantly. You can't help but be changed by entrepreneurship. So part of being an entrepreneur is learning how to like be okay with that change and grow and lean into it instead of resisting it, instead of pushing against it and trying to avoid it. It's like, oh, okay, we're just going with the flow a little bit more, right? And like not trying to just, this is the course that I set out. I thought I would be doing, I'm going to do Amazon, or I'm going to do wholesale, or I'm going to do farmers markets, or I'm going to do food service. Like whatever you think your path is, all of you listening already have businesses. You're like, oh yeah, preach. It's going to change. What you thought when you started is wildly different than how it actually goes. Okay, number 5. It will take way, way, way longer than you think to be profitable. This one's a hard one for me to say out loud. I mean, I say it and I hear it from other people. I just, I don't want to discourage you, right? Because I think entrepreneurship, there's so many benefits to entrepreneurship. But if you are in this business to make fast, quick money, I would say that is not the right reason to start a packaged food business. It is not an easy industry to make money in, especially if you're going traditional wholesale. The profit margins are really, really small. I was actually talking to a financial advisor yesterday, and we were just kind of chatting about business and different things, and he was asking me about the food stuff that I do, and I said, yeah, I mean, this is tough, right? Like, as a financial advisor, would you advise your clients to be in an industry that you're going to work harder than you've ever worked in your life? You're going to feel bigger emotions than you've ever felt. It's going to be a wild ride. And at the end of the day, like, let's say in 5 years, you're paying yourself a modest salary and the business is bringing in 3 to maybe, if you're lucky, 15% profit at the end of the day. And he was like, "Whoo, that's tough." It's like, so I just want to really caution you. And nobody oh, sorry, I almost fell. Nobody wants to believe me on this. And I get it, but there are just so many expenses in running a successful business. And yes, I can help you to avoid a lot of these things. There are things that I think people do way too prematurely that they don't need to invest in. There are ways to start making cash right away, and certainly farmers markets or other direct to consumer. A business has to scale in order for it to make sense. Like, cool, if you make $10,000 in a year, and then you make, let's say 10% of that is profit, well, you've just made $1,000, right? Like, is that worth it? A business is going to have to scale to some level for you to bringing home a salary, and you're going to have to change. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to do new things. And it just takes a whole lot of freaking time. It is like moving a boulder. It takes so much effort to get the inertia going. And you're going to try a whole bunch of things, and it's just going to take way, way longer than you think it will. And so, if I could caution you on any one thing, and this is what I know to be true, is have resources in place, have some runway, have a partner that can help support you, have uh, another job that can support you. I have plenty of people who are working full-time jobs or take on contract work to help support you. This is a passion business, and there's so many amazing rewards, but it takes time for this to make money. It just does. And so again, I don't want to discourage you. I love there are so many benefits to entrepreneurship, and I want you to do it if like in your soul you're like, I need to give this a try. I have to do this. And there are lots of success stories at every level. You don't have to be on the shelves of national grocery stores. You don't have to be on Amazon. You don't have to do farmers markets. There's a lot of ways to put it together, but we want to do it in phases. And there is a certain amount of investment that you're going to have to make depending on what your path for success, like what is success for you. But just give yourself more time. Dan Sullivan says entrepreneurs don't drive themselves crazy with goals. We drive ourselves crazy with deadlines. And I promise you, whatever deadline you have in your mind, again, all of you listening that already have products and things like you're like, I'm going to get into co-packing in 3 months, and really it takes 9 months, or I'm going to get those labels done, and I'm going to get that packaging printed in 2 weeks, and it takes 4 months. Right? These things just take long time. It's a totally different world than maybe what you're used to in your corporate job or in other places. Things just move really slow, and there's just so many things that you have not even anticipated because, again, not everything is Googleable. Google doesn't tell you the accurate time that it takes to actually get this going. Okay, enough on that. All right, number 6. People who have done it before can help you avoid so many pitfalls. People don't believe me. They think I will just figure this all out myself. I Even though you have no idea what you're doing, you've never done this before, but somehow it's like this, it's scary. I guess it's scary to go out and seek mentors, to find advisors, coaches, colleagues. Like, I get it. You're going to be a little vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there to be judged. And I know it feels safer to just be at home with your computer and like, I'll just figure this out on my own. I mean, it's just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like, why not go and seek out mentors? Why not be bold and go and message somebody who you really look up to in this industry, somebody who's successful in your eyes? Maybe they would be open to mentorship. Who knows? Go and find advisors. Phil, you need a board of advisors. I want to do a whole podcast on like who should be on your board of advisors for your life and your business, because we all need that. And then, of course, coaches, right? Myself, April, Danny, all of the fuel coaches, people in this industry who know this industry. And it's not just what they know, it's who they know. And that's the thing. When you've never been an entrepreneur, and I was in corporate for a long time, so I totally get it. You kind of just do your thing. And if you're not in any kind of sales role where you need to go out and get sales, you're kind of like, ugh, at least for me, I'll speak for myself. Networking was the worst. And I just did not see the value in creating a lot of connections and growing my network. I'm like, just let me come in, do my job. I do a great job. I get lots of gold stars and pats on the back. And then that's it, right? Then I go home and I don't have to think about it. But that's just not how it works in entrepreneurship. And finding, getting like expanding your network, your connections, your community, and looking at all these people as like mentors and your board of advisors. We all need that. And again, it's not just what we know, it's who we know. And I can make a phone call to somebody and get you the next thing that you need so much faster than you trying to figure it out on your own. So people don't believe me that this is true. But when people do it, when I see them start to really do it and expand their network and go to things like, if you're in an area that has a naturally, like naturally Boulder, or naturally San Diego, or naturally Chicago, those kind of things. I run an organization called Colorado Food Works. Go and seek out organizations where you can start networking and growing your community. And always remember that you need to be giving as much as you are getting. Always pay it forward, help the next person who's coming along. Do what you can to give as well as get. Right? It's not just about receiving. How can you also be of service to people? Okay, number 7. This is somewhat similar, but a community of other people doing the same thing you are doing is everything to speeding up your success. I see it all the time in Fuel when you have a community, and I've been part of communities, right? I know the power of having people cheering you on, of not feeling so isolated and alone. And when we're isolated and alone, we get a lot into our heads and that decision, like that analysis paralysis of like, I don't know, because you don't know. Like, should I do this? Should I do that? And then you choose something, but you haven't gotten any feedback. You haven't actually checked it out with other people who are doing it and maybe their experience, right? And so there is something really powerful. I know in the coaching communities I have been part of where it's just like, yes, I'm getting the top, the mentorship and the coaching and the advising, but then also the community. And community is just so powerful. And what's that saying? It's an African saying that's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's what community does. We are in it for the long haul. This is not a short, like, get rich quick scheme, right? Starting a business, especially a food business. We need each other. And the more that we are tapping into our collective knowledge, in fact, some people just posted today in Fuel about they've been using Oversee, one of the programs that I recommended, and they posted some feedback on like how they are seeing the best results for so that other people who maybe want to use that platform can then use that feedback. And that's the power of community, right? It's also about celebrating your wins, which is why we do that every week in Fuel. And we're also doing some fun things around our 30-day discipline challenge and doing some brags and some other things. It's like, you gotta measure your progress daily and weekly. This is because it's a long game, right? And so having people who get it, because it's very likely that people around you, your spouse, your partner, whatever, your friends, your family, they're just not going to get it. They're like, what? This whole entrepreneurship thing, not sure what this is about. And having people who speak your language and understand how hard and how amazing this can be is really, really important. Okay, number 8. Well, I just kind of said this, but I'm going to riff on it for a second. You will experience the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And weirdly, it seems like these happen on the same day or within the same week. I don't know why. It happens to me this way. It happens to other people. It's like you'll have the most amazing news. You get some big new partnership or some new order or, whatever, right? Some amazing news. And you're like, oh my gosh, the top of the world. This is amazing. And then you'll also get an email from your co-packer that says, we broke 30 cases of your bottles and now what? Right? Like literally you're going to get the best news and the worst news. And it seems like that happens right next to each other. And it is a roller coaster. this is part of it. It's like, do you want to experience this? Are you in on it? Are you in for it's like the 50-50 of life? And what you're doing, like your real life, pre-entrepreneurship, right? Your normal life still has these things. Um, and if you're working a regular job, you are going to have highs and lows, of course. But there's something about entrepreneurship because you are driving the ship. You are, commanding this vessel. And as you take action and things start happening and the momentum gets going and the boulder gets pushed and there's some inertia on your side, like cool things are going to happen. They just will. If you stay in it long enough, cool things will happen. And it's 50-50. Like you're living bigger. You're putting yourself out there. You're more expansive. You are doing bigger things in the world, and there's more opportunity for things to go sideways, for packaging to be misprinted, for things to break, for customers to be upset, for shipping to go awry, like the FDA to get involved, to get a cease and desist. Like these things will just happen. And it's learning to like go on the ride and just let it be okay and know that you have the resources, especially when you come and work inside Food Business Success and you come work with us in Fuel. You have the resources, the who's to help you through it. When somebody posts something like, oh my gosh, this is what just happened with my packaging run or my co-packer or the FDA or the farmer's market, right? Somebody got upset with me. I've dealt with it, or I know somebody who has, and there are other people in the group and the members who have dealt with the same things. First of all, it's good to know, it feels great to know you're not all alone. Like you're not the only one. And here's some ways to deal with it, right? And you will be okay. You will get through it. I promise. Like you're just going to have 10 problems all the time that you're just solving, and the problems just get bigger and bigger. The bigger you get, the more expansive, the more, you start growing your business. Highs and lows, part of the journey. And I think the trick is, for what I've noticed and through life coaching, is that when I just accept that the lows are part of it and I stop trying to resist them so much, they actually get easier. Just the saying the words when things go sideways, you just say, okay. And you just pause. And that's it. Okay. Okay. My product got pulled off the shelf. Okay. This buyer isn't getting back to me. Okay. This customer is upset. Like, it's okay. And you're going to figure it out. And then the next thing to do is go into Fuel and say, here's what happened. Can you guys help? What should I do next? Yeah, it's a wild ride. It's the best. And it's, you're going to laugh and jump for joy and cry. You'll have the biggest ups and the biggest downs. Number 9, your business can't make you happy. In fact, your business will potentially, if not managed well, will suck the life and the joy out of you. Especially when you tie your self-worth and your happiness to its success. Because as I just said, you cannot be on the up all the time. You will not have, it's not just like up, 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 everything's going amazing, right? And so we want to tie our self-worth and our happiness when things go right in the business. That's pretty normal. Like, oh, I'm happy now. And we pretty quickly adjust to that, to whatever new level, right? I look back at some of my clients who maybe in the early days were like, I made, I don't know, like $1,000, and now I'm going for $10,000. And then they start making $10,000. Now they want to go for 100,000. And then they adjust, right? It's like, I'll be happy when I make $100,000 in sales, or I'll be happy when I do 200,000. Guess what? Your business is still on a roller coaster. Good things are happening and bad things are happening. And you just adjust to the new normal. It's just like when you get a salary increase and you're like, oh, my problems are solved. And then not really, right? So what we need to do, and nobody believes me on this, they think when my business is a success, I will be happy all the time. But it's just not true. Your happiness is not tied to your business success. And when good things happen, we're like, yay, let's celebrate that. I'm amazing. I'm really proud of myself and proud of the effort. And like, that's really cool. Sometimes it's just luck, right? Being prepared when opportunity strikes is luck. That's great. But when things go bad, I'm not a bad person. There's nothing wrong with me. My self-esteem isn't tied to the lows of the business. In fact, that's where I rise to the challenge. We're going to figure it out. This is where entrepreneurs shine, right? You're probably solving a problem already with your product. So let's use that same mindset in your business. Like, we're just going to solve more problems. That's what we do as entrepreneurs. And so really detaching your success and versus like your self-worth and your happiness, because those things, my friends, come from the thoughts in your mind. And we are not going to be happy all the time. It's just impossible. We can feel a great state of well-being and calm and ease generally. And by just knowing that things are going to be up and down, that gives us a lot of good foundation to be able to do that from. But please, please detach right now. If you could believe me on anything, it would be like detach that I will be happy when my business is successful. I want you to be happy now. I want you to be happy on the journey. That's actually where the real happiness is in the journey and celebrating it with other people like we do in Fuel. All right, last drum roll. It's possible to build a beautiful business that gives you freedom of time and money, and it's based on your own definition of success. This is possible for you. And you might be like, well, yeah, duh, that's what I'm doing this area. Of course, I believe that. But here's where I think there's a mismatch is that you are probably creating a business that looks like somebody else's business, that is based on somebody else's success and what you think success looks like. And you're assuming that just automatically starting a business that you will have freedom of time and money. It takes so much courage and so much action and so much time to create a self-managing, sustainable business. And it takes a lot of, in my opinion, it takes a lot of mindset work, because at least the people I attract to come work with me are people who maybe tie their success, their happiness, to the success of their business. And there's also imposter syndrome and fear of rejection and some of these beliefs about worthiness and all of our money drama and things like that. And so when we actually start businesses, we kind of have a lot of entitlement that it's just supposed to happen for us. And that, like, of course, it should all just magically fall into place, right? I did XYZ, so why don't I have this business that gives me all this free time and money and feels really successful? And that is the work that both the CEO level work that we do in Master Your Business, and also it's the mindset work. It's the constantly creating new beliefs and new habits that are going to help you redefine what success for you looks like. Because success for Justin's and success for Lara Bar and Elizabeth and, on and on and on, whatever brands you really like and look up to for success. I'm all for looking up to people for inspiration, but hopefully they're building a business that works for them. And I want you to build a business that works for you, that is a beautiful business, one that you love, one that you wake up every day and you're like, yes, let's go. I love my business. I love that I can go on a vacation. I love that I can take time off. I love that I have help and that I'm not doing it all myself. And those things don't happen overnight, but it is possible for you. But it takes effort and it takes a willingness to let go and a willingness to make investments in yourself and your business. It takes a lot of courage. And most people don't do this, right? This is why a lot of businesses get started and only about 20% of them are still in business after 5 years because they don't do the work of really creating that self-sustaining business where they are not at the center, or you, you as the entrepreneur are not at the center of your business. And that's what usually happens and why people have so much burnout as an entrepreneur. And so I want you to know it's possible to create a business your way that feels successful based on your life and feels really authentic with who you are and how you want to do business, that matches your values and how you want to be in the world, what's really important to you, and not based on anybody else's business that they do. And I should let you know that Master Your Business is going to be opening very soon, and it's going to look a little bit different this fall, and I'm really excited about some of the changes. Like I said, I don't remember which number it was. Number 4, your business and you will change and evolve immensely. And so how it started 2 years ago is not how it's going to look now, but I'm really excited about it. And I think it's actually going to be even better, this new way that we're going to run Master Your Business. But this is my next level program for people who already have a business and are ready to go to the next level, are ready to create a business that you love, one that works for your life, and one that allows you the time and the money freedom that you got into business for, and one that is so difficult to find once you are an entrepreneur. And I'm so excited about how we're restructuring this and what it's going to look like for people who are ready to go to the next level and create a solid foundation of a business that is going to take you to 300K and get you to the next level. And one that you're going to have freedom of time and money and be able to rely a little more on a team and be able to hire well and train well and not be so enmeshed and so stuck to your business, right? No one is going to make an investment in your business if you cannot get out of it from underneath it. If you are tied to your business, no one wants that, including you. So if you're interested, if that sounds intriguing and some of these things are like, yep, been there. Yes, I see it. Maybe you'll want to believe me on this, that this is your next work to do, that it is possible for you to create a beautiful business where you are the CEO and you get that time and money freedom back and you actually love your business. Go to masteryourbiz.co and you can start the application process there. I'm going to review every application because I want to make sure it's a really good fit for the group that will be going through the program. I hope you enjoyed these 10 things that no one believes. And I'd be so curious if you're watching on YouTube to have you write in the comments below something about like, yep, that number 4 got me, or number 8, or whatever it is, right? Let me know what resonated with you. And if you're new and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to discourage you. That's not the point of this podcast. It's really about just helping you become aware of like, oh, if I could just avoid a couple of those, if I could go find some mentors and advisors and a coach, if I could go find a community, if I can remember that the highs are going to be high and the lows are going to be low, and that that's part of it. Like, I just want to give you a couple of things that might help you actually enjoy the journey more and then you're going to stick with it. And then you can come join us and master your business. All right. Until next time, have an amazing week. The smartest thing you can do as an entrepreneur is to invest in a who to help you with the how, to speed up your journey and help you skip the line. When you are ready for more support and accountability to finally get this thing done, you can work with me in 2 ways. Get me all to yourself with one-on-one business coaching, or join Food Business Success, which includes membership inside Fuel, our community of food business founders that includes monthly live group coaching calls and so much more. It's one of my favorite places to hang out, and I would love to see you there. Go to foodbizsuccess.com to start your journey towards your own food business success.